Most people wake up every morning without realizing that the very first words they speak determine the vibration of their entire day. Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, revealed something profound about those first moments after awakening. A moment when your soul is still half in the spiritual world and half in the physical one. According to Cayce, this brief window is when you are most open to the divine frequencies that align you with Christ consciousness itself. He explained that your words at dawn are not mere sounds, they are commands to the universe, shaping the reality that unfolds before you. What you say when you open your eyes can either connect you to divine harmony or pull you into the chaos of human thought. This isn't superstition, it's a spiritual law Cayce discovered through hundreds of documented readings. In this video, we'll uncover the exact phrase Cayce said can attune your mind to the energy of Christ the moment you awaken. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, what are the first words that usually leave your mouth when you wake up? Because after today, you may never want to say them the same way again. When you open your eyes each morning, you step into a silent moment that very few people ever recognize as sacred. The air feels still, the world hasn't yet demanded anything from you, and your thoughts begin to form like ripples on a calm surface. Edgar Cayce taught that this is not just the start of another day, it is the rebirth of your consciousness into the physical world. Each awakening, he said, mirrors the soul's return from the realms of spirit. During sleep, your spirit wanders through dimensions beyond human sight, connecting with the source, replenishing the energy that sustains your body and mind. But when you awaken, the bridge between those two worlds remains open for only a brief instant. In that instant, what you say, what you feel, and what you think determines whether you carry divine light or confusion into the hours ahead. Cayce's readings revealed that words are more than expressions. They are spiritual forces. Every vibration of sound carries energy that influences your aura, your emotions, and even the people you meet. He described them as living currents of thought made audible. This is why the first words you speak upon waking are so powerful. They are not random. They are a spiritual declaration that sets the tone for your soul's alignment throughout the day. Cayce often said that the soul responds instantly to affirmations of truth and love, because those are the vibrations of Christ consciousness itself. To speak words of gratitude or unity, the moment you awaken, is to synchronize with the divine intelligence that governs the universe. Most people, however, open their eyes and immediately speak words of worry or habit. I'm tired. Another day. I have so much to do. Without realizing it, they are programming their entire spiritual system to operate on frequencies of stress, resistance, and fear. Cayce warned that this is one of the greatest unseen errors of modern life, the failure to sanctify the beginning of consciousness each morning. To him, the morning was not just a physical event, it was a spiritual initiation repeated daily. He said that even the Christ within us waits for that moment, when we choose how to enter the day. When we begin with irritation or complaint, we close the inner channel to that divine presence. But when we begin with reverence, gratitude, and acknowledgement of the Creator, the entire vibration of our being rises toward the Christ pattern. He explained that Christ consciousness is not a concept, it is a living frequency accessible to every soul that chooses to attune itself through thought, word, and intention. Cayce described it as the ideal vibration of love in perfect harmony with the divine will. To align with it is to see beyond the material, to sense the invisible order behind all things. And it begins, he said, with the simplest act, the words you choose when you awaken. Let your first thought be of God, he told one seeker, and the day will not belong to confusion. That single instruction carries more power than volumes of philosophy. Because the moment you open your eyes, your consciousness is like a field of fresh snow, pure, receptive, untouched. Whatever you imprint upon it first becomes the foundation of your entire day. So what should we say upon waking? Cayce didn't prescribe a single formula, but he emphasized the intent behind the words. One of his readings offered this phrase, "Father, let my thoughts, my words, my deeds be in harmony with thee." When spoken with awareness, these words do more than express devotion. They vibrate through your entire energy field, realigning every cell of your body to the frequency of divine purpose. Science now speaks of brainwave states at the edge of sleep, theta frequencies associated with intuition, healing, and creativity. Casey was speaking of this same sacred state long before modern instruments could measure it. He knew that in those first moments of waking, your mind is still open to suggestion, and your spirit still echoes the energy of higher realms. It is then, he said, that you must speak consciously, so that heaven and earth meet within your words. Before we go deeper into how this practice transforms your soul and why it was central to Casey's vision of spiritual evolution, take a moment to interact. Leave a comment below telling me what your first words usually are in the morning. Do they invite peace or tension, gratitude or fatigue? Your answer might reveal more than you think. And if this message is already touching your spirit, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because what we're about to uncover will completely change the way you see your mornings forever. Casey taught that the soul is not separate from God. It is a spark of the same divine flame. When you awaken, that spark stirs within you, seeking direction. If you guide it toward the light through conscious words, it expands, fills you with calm, and radiates outward. But if you ignore it, the spark dims under the noise of human worry. This is why Casey insisted that the moment of awakening is sacred. It's the instant the divine spark listens for its command. Your first words are like a compass. They tell your spirit where to go. Imagine the difference between starting your day with "I can't handle this" versus "I am one with the source of all strength." One creates walls, the other opens heaven. Casey said that this alignment isn't just spiritual poetry, it's energetic law. Every vibration, every thought moves through the body's energy centers and either harmonizes or disrupts the flow of life itself. In one of his readings, he explained that our bodies are instruments tuned by thought and emotion. Just as a stringed instrument goes out of tune with neglect, the soul drifts from harmony when our daily awareness is careless. The purpose of morning prayer or affirmation, he said, is not to beg for favor, but to tune the instrument of consciousness so that it resonates with divine will. This is what it means to align with the energy of Christ. The Christ vibration, Casey said, is pure love, made active through thought. It's the pattern of creation itself, selfless, luminous, unending. When you speak words of gratitude upon waking, you are not merely thanking God. You are harmonizing your frequency with that creative force. Think about how a musician begins a performance. They don't start playing immediately, they tune. The act of tuning determines the beauty of every note that follows. Casey believed our mornings should be the same. Before we rush into action, we must tune the instrument of our soul. He warned that neglecting this moment is like beginning a symphony out of tune. No matter how hard you play, the music will never sound right. So when you first open your eyes, take a breath and remember that the first sound you make, your words, your sigh, even your thoughts, set your vibration for the day. Speak deliberately. Whisper words that call the divine to join you in the physical world. He also said that the divine responds instantly to recognition. When you acknowledge the presence of God in those first moments, you are not summoning something distant. You are awakening the Christ energy already within you. Casey's concept of the Christ within was revolutionary for many of his time. He described it as the part of your being that remembers its unity with the Creator. It is your original consciousness before fear and doubt entered the human experience. To speak words that affirm this truth is to call that inner Christ to the surface, to let divine intelligence think, act, and love through you. The phrase, "Let my thoughts, words, and deeds be in harmony with thee," is not a prayer of separation, but of remembrance. It reminds the soul of who it already is. Casey said that when you awaken with this awareness, the rest of the day unfolds under a divine rhythm. Coincidences align, intuition sharpens, and peace replaces anxiety. You begin to sense a subtle order in everything, an invisible hand guiding events with purpose. He often told people that miracles are not violations of natural law, but expressions of it through higher understanding. The true miracle is not external, It's the transformation of your perception. When you start your day attuned to the Christ vibration, you don't escape life's challenges. You meet them from a higher state of consciousness, where fear no longer dictates your response. He reminded us that the energy of Christ is not limited to religion. It is universal, eternal, woven into the very structure of creation. It is love acting intelligently. When you wake and declare your unity with that energy, you become a living channel through which divine purpose flows into the world. The smallest tasks, when done in this awareness, gain sacred meaning. Washing dishes becomes an act of service. Speaking kindly becomes a form of prayer. Every heartbeat echoes the rhythm of the Creator. Casey said that living this way does not require withdrawal from the world. It requires awakening within it. And that awakening begins in the first minute of the morning. Many of his readings encouraged people to experiment with this, to wake, speak consciously, and observe how life changes. Those who practiced it reported a deeper peace, a sense of guidance throughout the day, and a quiet joy that no circumstance could erase. It wasn't imagination, it was alignment. Casey explained that divine law responds to vibration, not effort. When your first vibration each day carries gratitude and love, the law of attraction between your soul and the divine becomes active. You attract experiences that reflect the energy you declared upon waking. We spend so much of life searching for miracles, waiting for signs, begging for direction. Yet Casey's message was simple. The gate to heaven opens every morning, and most people sleepwalk through it. To awaken with awareness is to meet God in the threshold between night and day, and in that brief moment, what you say decides what world you walk into. Casey believed that humanity's greatest blindness is forgetfulness, the soul's tendency to wake up each morning and forget what it truly is. He said that every sunrise is an invitation from God to remember that you are more than flesh, more than your name, more than yesterday's worries. You are spirit made in the image of the Creator, sent here to learn how to express divine love in a world that has forgotten its source. That's why, according to Casey, the moment right after waking is so sacred. Your consciousness stands between two worlds, the eternal and the temporary. What you choose to say then determines which one will lead your thoughts for the rest of the day. If you speak words born of light, you strengthen your connection with the spiritual world. If you speak words born of fear, you anchor yourself deeper into illusion. He described this morning moment as the echo of your nightly journey through the spiritual dimensions. While your body sleeps, your spirit travels. It communes with guides, absorbs lessons, and renews its strength in the presence of God. When you awaken, the memories of those encounters fade quickly, but their energy remains. Casey said that the right words can help you keep that divine energy alive throughout the day. Saying something as simple as, "Father, guide me today," reopens the channel that connects the sleeping soul to divine purpose. Those who make this a daily habit begin to feel what Casey called the quiet certainty of divine companionship. It is not emotion, it is awareness. The awareness that you are never alone because God is consciousness itself, and you are a spark of that consciousness walking the earth. He warned that people often confuse spiritual alignment with mere positivity. But to Casey, aligning with the energy of Christ was not about repeating cheerful phrases or denying pain. It was about surrender, choosing love even when your emotions resist it, choosing faith even when the outcome is uncertain. The Christ energy is not an idea. It's a frequency that exists beyond judgment, and every soul can attune to it through discipline of thought. Your morning declaration, he said, is your daily tuning. It doesn't matter whether you feel inspired or tired, hopeful or hopeless. What matters is that you declare your loyalty to the light before the shadows of the day can claim your mind. Casey once said, "Mind is the builder." That phrase appears in dozens of his readings. It means that thought creates the structure through which your soul experiences life. The body is the tool, the mind is the builder, and the spirit is the architect. When you awaken and declare something aligned with divine will, you give your builder a blueprint made of light. Throughout the day, that blueprint shapes your reactions, your choices, and the kind of energy you attract. If you begin each day complaining, your builder uses those materials, and you end up constructing walls of limitation. But if you begin with gratitude, you build bridges. You become a channel through which divine purpose can express itself. Casey's readings also taught that these moments of alignment accumulate. Every morning spent in conscious attunement adds another layer of harmony to your soul's vibration. Over time, this becomes your new normal. Peace replaces fear, intuition becomes clearer, and your presence itself brings healing to others. You stop reacting to the world and begin radiating through it. People may not understand why they feel calmer around you, but Casey explained it perfectly. The Christ vibration within one soul can awaken the memory of God within another. That's why he called each morning an act of service. By aligning yourself with divine energy, you quietly help to lift the collective vibration of humanity. Now pause for a second and think about it. How many mornings in your life have you lived unconsciously, letting the first words out of your mouth be complaints, doubts, or distractions? How different would your life look if, starting tomorrow, you treated those first 60 seconds as holy ground? The world will not slow down for you, but the divine will. That small silent window between sleep and awareness is where heaven listens. It's where you can say, "Here I am, Father. Use me today." And heaven answers. If this truth resonates with your heart, take a moment to support this message. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share in the comments what you'll begin saying tomorrow morning. Because every time you affirm the light, you strengthen it, not only within yourself but in every soul that hears your words. Casey often said that spiritual awakening doesn't happen in great flashes of revelation, but in quiet acts of remembrance repeated every day. He reminded his followers that the divine rarely shouts, it whispers. And the clearest of those whispers is heard right after you wake up, when your conscious mind hasn't yet built its defenses of logic, fear, and distraction. In that fragile moment, your soul is still open. The veil between you and the unseen world is thin. If you speak from the heart, heaven listens. If you listen inwardly, heaven answers. That is the mystery of morning prayer, and it is why Casey placed such importance on those first words of the day. They are the bridge between worlds, the moment when your human self decides whether to cooperate with the divine plan or drift into forgetfulness again. He described the energy of Christ as the purest expression of the divine blueprint within every soul. It's not a figure to be worshipped from a distance, but a living frequency that each person must awaken from within. To Casey, Jesus was the perfect model, the one who fully embodied that vibration of oneness with God. But he insisted that the same potential lies dormant in every human heart. When you awaken each morning and consciously align your thoughts with love, patience, and forgiveness, you take a small step toward that same embodiment. You make the Christ not a memory of the past, but a living force in the present. That's why he said, each soul is a portion of the whole seeking to know itself as one with the Father. Science would one day echo this truth through discoveries in physics and biology, showing that everything is vibration, that thought and emotion carry measurable energy. Casey anticipated this long before modern research confirmed it. He said the spirit moves through frequencies of light, sound, and intention. When you begin your day speaking words of divine harmony, you literally alter your vibrational pattern. Your brain, heart, and nervous system synchronize to higher frequencies. The result is not imaginary, it's physiological, emotional, and spiritual transformation working as one. The peace you feel isn't an illusion, it's resonance. You have tuned yourself to the same pattern that sustains creation itself. But Casey also warned that this alignment must be chosen daily. You cannot store spiritual energy like water in a jar. Every morning, he said, you start again. Each dawn offers a new chance to remember who you are and whom you serve. That is why he compared the spiritual path to farming. The soil of consciousness must be cultivated every day. The words you speak are the seeds, your thoughts are the water, and your actions are the sunlight. Neglect the soil, and weeds of fear will take over. Speak carelessly, and you'll harvest confusion. But speak truth, gratitude, and love, and the harvest will be peace. Many who read Casey's work misunderstood his focus on Christ consciousness as mere theology, but his readings show that it was practical psychology of the soul. He saw humanity as divine beings temporarily asleep, dreaming they are powerless. The words we choose upon waking are like an alarm clock for the spirit. They remind the sleeping divinity within us that it's time to awaken. Every good morning can become a sacred invocation if said with awareness. Good morning, Father. I am ready to serve. In that instant, your life ceases to be random. It becomes guided, purposeful, infused with grace. He often reminded his students that Christ never left humanity. Humanity left Christ. The divine presence has never gone anywhere. It waits patiently for recognition. The energy of Christ cannot force its way into your life. It responds to invitation. And that invitation begins with your voice, your breath, your awareness, the moment you awaken. If you start your day by saying, I live in thee, you open the gates of consciousness for divine energy to flow through your day. You become an instrument, and through you the world hears the melody of heaven again. So tomorrow morning, before your thoughts rush in, pause. Feel that sacred stillness between dreams and waking. Don't grab your phone. Don't think of your to-do list. Instead, whisper the words Casey offered. Father, let my thoughts, my words, my deeds be in harmony with thee. Say them slowly, as if the universe itself is listening, because it is. Then breathe. Feel how something shifts, how the invisible becomes tangible, how peace replaces noise. That is the Christ energy entering your awareness, responding to your call. And as the hours unfold, you'll notice that everything feels different, not because the world has changed, but because you have. Casey said that when a soul truly begins its day in alignment with the divine, everything it touches carries a different vibration. The same conversations, the same tasks, the same struggles begin to feel different because your perception shifts from fear to faith. You stop reacting from habit and start responding from awareness. That is the silent miracle of attunement. It doesn't change the outer world first. It changes the lens through which you see it. He compared this to sunlight breaking through a storm. The clouds don't vanish immediately, but suddenly the landscape is illuminated. That light is understanding, and with understanding comes peace. When your morning begins in harmony with the Christ energy, you carry that light into every interaction. Even your silence becomes healing. He often explained that the soul's purpose is not escape, but transformation. You're not here to run from the world, but to redeem it through love, one moment at a time. When you speak divine words at dawn, you prepare yourself to meet the world as an instrument of peace. You become aware of how your energy affects others, how your tone, your patience, your presence can lift a room or darken it. Casey taught that our vibration is the real language of the soul. Words are the vehicles, but energy is the message. If your first words each morning align with divine truth, everything you communicate during the day carries that same frequency. People sense it, even if they don't understand why. They feel safer, more open, more alive around you. You are silently doing God's work simply by being attuned. He described prayer not as asking for favors, but as the soul remembering its origin. When you pray upon waking, you're not informing God of your needs. He already knows. You're reminding yourself that you belong to something infinite, that you are not the storm but the sky behind it. This remembrance strengthens your spirit so that when challenges come, you face them with calm authority instead of fear. Casey said that those who live this way don't avoid suffering, they transform it. Pain becomes a lesson, delay becomes protection, and uncertainty becomes trust. Every experience turns into a classroom for the soul. He once told a seeker, "Each day is a new creation. Make it in the image of your highest thought." That's the essence of this teaching. The first words of the morning are the brushstrokes on the canvas of your day. If you begin with complaint, you paint in gray. If you begin with gratitude, you paint in light. And light attracts light. It's not magic, it's law. The universe responds to the vibration you hold, not the words you repeat without meaning. That's why intention matters more than form. Casey emphasized that no phrase has power unless it's spoken from the heart. The divine hears sincerity, not perfection. The more you practice this, the more you start to notice divine orchestration in small things. The right person calling at the right time, a problem resolving itself, a sudden sense of peace in the middle of chaos. Casey called these evidences of attunement, signs that your inner and outer worlds have synchronized. The more consistent you are with your morning alignment, the stronger this synchronicity becomes. You stop living by chance and start living by purpose. And in time, the Christ energy you awaken within yourself begins to heal others, without preaching, without effort. It flows naturally because love in motion is its own sermon. Casey said that even the smallest soul attuned to God becomes a point of light in the world's darkness. He believed that one conscious person could affect the vibration of thousands simply by holding inner peace. The kingdom of heaven, he said, is within, and when found there, it shines without. So every morning that you begin in harmony, you are not only saving your own day, you are helping to restore balance to humanity's collective energy. That is the quiet revolution of spirit. Not noise, not fame, but vibration. And it begins with one whisper. Father, let my will be thine. This is the wisdom that has echoed through every age, but Casey gave it form for our modern world. In the noise of ambition and technology, he reminded us that power still lies in silence, in that one sacred minute after you wake up, before the world takes hold of you. There, between breath and thought, heaven waits, and all it needs is your consent. If this message has stirred something in you, take a moment now, before you forget, to like this video, subscribe, and share what phrase you'll begin using each morning. Your comment might inspire someone else to awaken consciously for the first time. Together we can bring light back into the first moment of every day. As Casey neared the end of his life, his message became even simpler. Begin each day with him. He repeated it again and again, because he knew that most people look for God in temples, in books, or in miracles, while ignoring the quiet place where he waits, inside the human heart. He said that the divine presence is always there, but your awareness must open the door. That door opens each morning. When your eyes first awaken and your lips move in recognition of the divine, the door swings wide and light floods in. You are no longer a lost soul searching for meaning. You are a conscious extension of God remembering itself. Casey explained that this remembrance is the entire purpose of existence. The soul's journey is not about becoming something new, but awakening to what it already is. A fragment of the Christ mind learning to express love in a world that forgot love. He often compared this awakening to the rising sun. No matter how long the night, the sun never fails to rise. Likewise, the divine spark within you never goes out. It only waits behind clouds of doubt, fear, and routine. Each morning gives you a chance to clear those clouds. When you choose to greet the day with words of truth, you invite that inner sun to shine through you. And the world needs that light now more than ever. Casey believed that the transformation of humanity would not come through politics or force, but through individual awakening, through millions of souls remembering who they are at dawn. Every person who begins their day in awareness adds a new ray to the collective light of the planet. He said that as more people attune themselves to the Christ vibration, the world's frequency will shift. Conflicts will lose power, fear will dissolve, and the higher ideals of compassion and unity will emerge naturally. This was not prophecy, it was energetic law. The external world reflects the consciousness of its inhabitants. If humanity wakes up angry, the earth trembles. If humanity wakes up in love, creation sings. That is why Casey's teaching about morning alignment was not a small ritual. It was a key to global healing, and it begins with you, with your breath. With your first word of the day, he also spoke about forgiveness as the highest form of morning prayer. Before your mind re-enters the noise of daily life, release the weight of yesterday. Let go of resentment and judgment. Say silently, "As I awaken to this day, I forgive as I am forgiven." This, he said, clears the channels of the heart, so divine energy can flow freely. Without forgiveness, the Christ light cannot fully shine, because love cannot coexist with bitterness. Forgiveness doesn't mean approval. It means freedom. It means you stop drinking the poison of anger and start drinking the water of peace. When this becomes your first act of the day, the entire vibration of your life changes. Casey promised that those who live this way will begin to feel a quiet companionship guiding them. They will sense inspiration in ordinary things, receive ideas from seemingly nowhere, and find strength in moments that once felt unbearable. The reason, he said, is that their consciousness has become a channel. The Christ energy no longer visits occasionally, it dwells. Life ceases to feel random because you start to see divine intelligence moving through everything. The faces you meet, the challenges you face, even your own pain, all become part of a sacred dialogue between you and the Creator. You realize that you were never separated, you were simply asleep. So tomorrow morning, when your eyes open, remember this. The universe pauses to listen. Your soul stands between the dream and the day, waiting for its command. Don't waste that holy moment with words of fear or complaint. Speak light, speak truth, speak the name of the one who gave you breath. Whisper gently, "Father, let me walk in your peace." And then rise, carrying that vibration into the world like a torch, because somewhere, someone's darkness will be lessened by the light you bring. Edgar Cayce's legacy is not a mystery to be studied, it's a practice to be lived. He didn't ask us to worship his words. He asked us to remember our own. The words we speak when we awaken are the keys that unlock the divine within. Use them wisely. Because the first thing you say each morning is the first thing creation hears. Let it be love. Let it be truth. Let it be the Christ that lives within you, rising again with every dawn.